Rosie, our beautiful bus that's traveling around the USA to let people know about our great Republican Party and to become registered to vote for Donald Trump. We pray for your loving blessing of all people, dear Lord, of our great country and all around the world, that we may live in peace and harmony together. In your holy name we pray, dear Lord. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I tried putting my glasses on, but they're all fogged up. But anyway, I wanted to thank Jeannie Zimmerman, Susie Lowball, Judy K. Williams, and Cynthia Baker. They were fantastic. Woo! Okay, I hope you're enjoying the ice cream social and have an opportunity to meet our Carrie Allman, our National Federation of Republican Women's president. And of course, all of you have enjoyed your ice cream. My name is Donna Tansey, and I'm president of the Republican Women of Prescott. Along with, I'm first vice president for AZFRW. So we're very pleased that all of you came out on this night that we didn't know, what it was going to be, rainy or sunny or whatever, but it is what it is. Now, you're there. Thank you. I wanted to just mention something. How many of you saw or heard Trump's speech last night? Was that fantastic? I mean, that's fantastic. He gets it. We get it. And guess what? Harry Oberg gets it. He's our fantastic mayor, and he's going to come to the podium and say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't know about you, but I want some ice cream, so I want to make this pretty quick. I want to thank all of you for attending this event. I especially want to thank the President of the National Federation of Republican Women, Ms. Carrie Allman, for bringing the Rosie White House bus tour to Prescott. We consider it an honor to be a part of your grand tour and to support you in taking back the White House. Carrie, you and your bus come at a very opportune time. It's been a hectic year for the Yavapai County GOP base, and more recently a contentious primary election. It is my hope that your tour will help mend fences within the party, both within our country, our county and state, and across the nation. We look forward to your bus tour reigniting our collective spirits and bringing us together in common cause of electing a Republican as President of the United States. In addition, we want to strongly support Republican candidates up and down the ticket to ensure we retain a majority in the U.S. House and Senate. Between now and the general election in November, it is important for us to remember the old adage, united we stand, divided we fall. We cannot assume our state will stay red if we do not unite in a single purpose. As Dennis Prager recently stated, for Democrats, character is not a virtue. We Republicans continually put forward candidates with character, so it's very damaging to our political beliefs and our party to disparage our candidates or incumbents over political differences of opinion. Too often we want to take a fellow Republican to the mat for one reason or another, a person being either too conservative, commonly referred to as being a right-wing nut job, or for not being conservative enough. The latter folks are often referred to as rhinos. The Republican Party is destroying itself from within, and the Democrats are totally elated and look forward to its demise. So let's rededicate ourselves right now, this afternoon, to get on the bus and reestablish a united Republican Party. I want to thank the Republican women of Prescott and the Yavapai County Republican women for their efforts in sponsoring the Rosie bus tour event on our beautiful courthouse plaza. Please join me in giving them a great hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Mayor over. Have you ever been called Mary before? Okay. Anyway, we have a few dignitaries in the audience, and we'd just like to recognize them. Of course, we have Senator John McCain, his lovely wife, Cindy McCain. Of course, Carrie Almond is here with us. And the infamous Karen Fan out there. I see her. Wave your hand, Karen. I don't see Noel Campbell. He was supposed to be here. Mark Sensmeyer, Yavapai GOP. We've got Linda Gray, Yavapai GOP. She's over there at voter registration. I don't see Ron Williams. Is he here? Yes. Ron Williams, he's here somewhere. Anyway, hi Ron. We have Billy Orr, Prescott City Councilwoman. And guess what? Past president of RWAP. All right. Next, I would like to introduce Pat Parker. She's a wonderful lady, and guess what? She started the brand new Yavapai County Republican Women just recently. Yeah. Pat has remained very active with the party. She previously was NFRW second VP, and she's also their PR person currently. So she's pretty active, and we'd like to have her come to the podium. Welcome, Pat.
Well, thank you, Donna, and thank all of you for coming out today. This is an exciting time. You need to know that this idea was birthed by our leader in November, December, am I close? And so Rosie has in fact become a reality, and everyone's been working hard to include you all in making that happen. You know, one of the things that you just never know who you're going to be running into is that when I was second vice president, Carrie was treasurer of the National Federation. Yay! Our first responders. Giving Rosie a shout out. And not only that, we got to know each other really well because we were roommates when we were traveling around with National. So enough about me, but I also want to recognize someone else very special that's over here in the teal shirt. He is the driver of Rosie. They've driven over 30-something thousand miles and through 32 states so far, and they've still got some going. So thank you, Doc. And also a little tidbit of information. Doc used to drive for Senator McCain as well. I bet you never thought you'd be back here doing this again, would you? So thanks so much, Doc. But just a little bit about Carrie. You know, Carrie has given over 2 years of her life. She was elected to do this, and when you're president of the National Federation, you are required to move to Washington, D.C. for 2 years. And sometimes that's hard to do. And she's an executive with a large bank in the Missouri area, and she had to step down for her executive responsibilities, and so she's taken the helm for us. And under the leadership that she has, her passion is to have women involved. She realizes and understands the importance of women, especially in this election, and you men as well, but and also voter registration. So I'm very proud to introduce to you our national president, Carrie Allman. Carrie.
Well, it is just great to be here, and I'm humbled that you would want me to speak when I know you all are just waiting to meet the guest of honor, Rosie. But I do want to tell you a little bit about what we've been doing, and how the tour's been going and how it all came to be. As the executive committee of the National Federation of Republican Women will tell you, that was my harebrained idea. So I guess that's a backhanded compliment. I'm not exactly sure. But stepping back a little bit, the National Federation of Republican Women, for those of you who might not know, is an organization made up of over 65,000 women across the United States. And when I was going to run for president, I always say, if you can't be good, be lucky. I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to be president if I win this election on a presidential election year. And then I went, oh my gosh, I'm going to be president of this organization on a presidential election year. What am I going to do to make a difference? So I thought back to 2014, when the National Federation of Republican Women were responsible for tracking, recording, and giving awards for over 4.2 million campaign volunteer hours. Now think about that. At the convention that we had right here in this state last year, we reported over 4.2 million campaign volunteer hours. Now, I am a banker and I like to keep things simple. So at $10 an hour, that's over $42 million of time that this organization dedicated to getting Republicans elected from the courthouse to the White House. So I found out that there were 23 million unregistered females out there. I said, I know just the organization to tackle that. Let's do 8.2 million volunteer hours, and let's get all these women registered to vote. But I didn't want to sit up in DC and say, ladies, go out and do more. Work harder. So we put a plan together. We raised a little money. Rosie came to be, and by the way, she's named after my grandmother, Rosemary Ginn, who was a wonderful ambassador for the United States. And I thought, what better namesake than Rosie the Bus for the National Federation of Republican Women. She's been a wonderful ambassador for years. So we've traveled, as Ms. Pat said, 32 states as of Arizona, over 18,900 miles, and I want to tell you, Rosie is doing an amazing job unifying our women behind our candidates, reminding them that we have to work tirelessly and do things just a little bit harder and a little bit more dedicated this time if we are going to win in November. Now, it is the 2016 Destination White House Tour, and we are traveling with the key to the White House. And we don't want to give that key to Hillary Clinton. No. So that just means we have to be, lock her up. That just means we have to work a little bit harder, do a little bit more. And so when you think you can't do one more phone call for a candidate, or you can't go door to door, Or you can't ask one more person at church if they're registered to vote because they're afraid you're going to kick you out. Think of me riding around the United States in that bus, sleeping on the top bunk, and I used to say eating only bologna sandwiches because we haven't raised all the money that we need to pay for Rosie. Where ladies all over the United States have donated their contribution of $20.16. But we still need a little bit more because she has a hefty appetite for fuel. But I had to give up on bologna sandwiches and move to PB&J. Idaho gave us free jams and jellies. So we gotta eat them, right, Doc? Anyway, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'd love to get a group shot with the key to the White House when the time is appropriate. And of course, Rosie wants everybody's autograph on her. She's got many famous people on there. But nobody is more famous than you and your dedication to getting Republicans elected. So thank you so much for coming out today, especially on a rainy day. And I know that you want to get to the ice cream, so I'll be quiet. Terry Frankel.
Got it?
So I want to just tell you a little bit about voter registration. This young lady was a Democrat in February, and she wised up and she switched parties, and she is now a Republican woman, and we are so delighted about that. But what made it even more interesting, and I wanted to introduce Carrie to Terry, because at our event, our fundraising event, Carrie called in to welcome Terry to the Republican Party and to the National Federation of Republican Women, and I wanted them to have the opportunity to put a name and a face together. So I thought that was a really special thing.
If I may say that I was in Vietnam with the USO in 1968. I'm an early Doublemint twin, and I took a menu from the Officers Club, and I saved it for many years. And when I had a chance to corner Senator John McCain to sign it, he signed it for me. So I treasure that menu. Thank you.
So one of the things that we also debuted there was some music that Terry and Fred Shane wrote, and I'd like for you to just take a listen to this song and just enjoy it together. And it's honoring our veterans, it's honoring our nation, so just take a moment. And the National Federation is playing this all over the place, and we're just so proud and excited about what Terry has done for us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Here's to you, red, white, and blue. Here's to all the heroes. Here's to you. We pledge our allegiance every day.
To our men and women in uniform, it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here's to you, tried and true. We still stand for freedom with all that you've been through. So we pledge our allegiance every day. RBGC. Here's to you, red, white, and
You know, I have to say, I had a friend here tonight, and I don't see her, but she is my neighbor. And she came down tonight, and guess what? She registered Republican. My neighbor. All right. We all have to get our neighbors down and register them. Okay, we're going to have Harry Oborn come up and say a few words in his introduction of Senator McCain. Thank you.
Well, I'm honored and privileged to introduce Senator John McCain, a fellow veteran. Senator John McCain has spent his lifetime in unwavering service to America, both in the United States Navy and representing the people of Arizona in the U.S. Congress. He has led the fight to strengthen America's national security in our armed forces, eliminated wasteful government spending, and reformed government to make it more responsive to the American people. Senator McCain graduated from U.S. Naval Academy and served a 22-year career as a naval aviator. On July 29, 1967, John narrowly survived the first of several near-death experiences in the Navy. While in the Gulf of Tonkin preparing to take off on a bombing mission over North Vietnam from his ship, the USS Forrestal, a missile accidentally fired from a nearby aircraft and struck the fuel tanks on his plane, triggering a massive fire that detonated additional missiles and ultimately caused the loss of lives of 134 sailors, the worst naval disaster since World War II. Despite entries from the Forrestal disaster, John declined returning to the States and volunteered for additional combat duty. About 4 months later, on October 26, 1967, during John's 23rd bombing mission over North Vietnam, a surface-to-air missile struck his plane and forced him to eject, knocking him unconscious and breaking both his arms and his legs. I bet you wish you were in helicopters then. It's hard to get a jet that's going 600 miles to pick you up. After parachute landing and immediate capture, John was taken as a prisoner of war into the now infamous Hanoi Hilton, where he was denied needed medical treatment and subjected to years of torture by the North Vietnamese. Aided by his faith and the strength of his fellow POWs, John regained his health and was finally released after 5.5 years on March 14, 1973. After Vietnam, John continued his service attending the National War College before being assigned as commanding officer of the Navy's largest aviation squadron at Cecil Field in Jacksonville, Florida. John's last duty assignment was to serve as the Navy liaison to the U.S. Senate. He retired from the Navy in 1981. His military honors include the Legion of Merit, the Silver Star, the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Bronze Star, and the Purple Heart. John was first elected to the U.S. House of Representatives from the 1st District of Arizona on an agenda of limited government and advocating the need for a strong foreign policy. After 2 terms in the House, John was elected to the U.S. Senate in 1986, succeeding legendary Arizona Senator Barry Goldwater. He currently serves as chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee and serves on the Senate Committee for Homeland Security and Government Affairs and Indian Affairs. John has 7 children and 4 grandchildren and currently lives in Phoenix, Arizona with his wife, Cindy. Please join me in giving a warm Prescott welcome to Senator John McCain.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and thank you for your service. I'm sure that you all know that Mayor Oberg spent some time in combat in Vietnam as a helicopter pilot. And to me, he epitomizes what's best in America, because he came home, he served, continued to serve, and he continues now to be the best mayor in Arizona. And I know that Prescott is very proud of him and his continued service to our state. So, even if he was in the Army, but that's okay. Donna, I thank you for your great work. Donna Tanzi is President of Republican Women. Carrie Ullman, thank you for making Prescott, Arizona as one of your important stops. Thank you for your leadership. And frankly, we know who wins elections. All right. I don't need to say anything more. Thank you. Lorraine Pellegrino, President of Arizona Federation of Republican Women. Pat Parker. Terry Franco. Terry, thank you for your contribution in Vietnam as part of the USO. I can tell you, and Harry will tell you also, that what you did was so important to their morale and their spirits, and thank you, and I'm sure they chewed double mint from then on forever. So thank you. And Billy Orr, our great member of the Prescott Council, and Karen Fan, thank you, Karen. Thank all of you. Thank all of you who are here in support of Rosie's continued journey to bring the White House and the United States Senate and the House of Representatives in Republican hands, so that we can make sure that we can reverse the trend of this president who does not respect the Constitution of the United States of America. My friends, every 2, 4, 6, or 6 years, politicians stand before you and say, this is the most important election in history. I would argue that this might be certainly in our lifetimes. Let's look at one issue. United States Supreme Court. 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 new justices of the Supreme Court will be appointed by the next President of the United States. My dear friends, in order to ensure that we don't destroy the conservative movement in America, we must have a majority in the United States Senate. We must do that. We have an economy that has never fully recovered. The slowest recovery in history. Ever since the Great Depression, this is the slowest recovery. 19 million Americans have stopped looking for work. Millions of blue-collar workers have left their job and see no hope for a future. Small businesses, ask anyone over on Whiskey Row, they'll tell you that government regulations are killing them. By the thousands, they're coming down. And they want to arbitrarily raise the minimum wage. But it's regulation after regulation. This president said, I've got a pen and I've got a phone. Maybe you remember that. He said, I got a pen and I got a phone. Do you know what he meant when he said that? Of course we know that he was going to disregard the Congress of the United States of America. My friends, the Constitution of the United States says that we have 3 equal branches of government: judicial, legislative, and executive. This president has taken on to himself powers which he has no right to do, and he has betrayed his oath of office when he became President of the United States to respect and defend the Constitution of the United States. We need a new President of the United States that will respect the Constitution of the United States of America. Now I want to tell you just a little bit. We've now gone from a peaceful world at the great sacrifice of American blood and treasure to a world that is on fire. Take a look at a map of the world in January of 2009 when Barack Obama became President of the United States, and you look at that map of the world today. The Director of National Intelligence and the head of the CIA have said there will be more attacks on the United States of America. John McCain didn't say that, but the ISIS, which is the first time a terrorist organization has its own capital, is metastasizing around the world. And my friends, Baghdadi, the head of ISIS, as we speak, is calling in young men, giving them an encrypted app and saying, join the refugee flow, and contact us on an encrypted phone. Today, there are young men on the internet in the United States of America that are doing what we call self-radicalization. They've become convinced that the best thing that they can do is give up their lives in order to take the lives of Americans. And my friends, it is a serious threat. We now see Russia now playing a major role in the Middle East. They haven't had that since Anwar Sadat threw them out of Egypt in 1973. We now see Anwar Sadat bombing the people that we armed and trained and equipped with barrel bombs. He's killed 400,000 people. There are millions that are in the refugee flow. It's destabilizing Europe. All because this president believed that America should lead from behind. America should never lead from behind, my friends. America should be leading from in front. If you look to Asia, you'll see the Chinese are now filling in islands in gross violation of international law. And they're declaring those as part of China. If you look at the Iranian deal, which is a way of giving over $100 billion to the Iranians to pursue their desire and ambitions to control the Middle East. You know, they had 2 missiles they tested not long ago. You know what was written on the side of those 2 missiles in Hebrew? Death to Israel. They are an existential threat to the state of Israel, the only free and solid democracy in the Middle East. And now we see, I'm sure that you saw, the front page of every newspaper in America, a picture of a little boy. A little boy. Dirt, blood all over it. That is what we've gotten from the presidency of Barack Obama. We cannot let that continue. I also want to point out to you, when I paint this picture of the world today, we are still the strongest, best, most powerful and influential nation on earth. All we need is the right leader. We are now, there's some of us here that remember waiting in gas lines for hours because OPEC had turned off the oil supply. That'll never happen again. We're now energy independent. Many of us know that this device is information, which is knowledge. By the way, Vladimir Putin sanctioned me and Cindy, and we can't go to Siberia again this fall for our vacation. And my friends, we have the strongest economy, we have the strongest people, we have the best military, and nobody supports them more than the United States of America. So could I just finally end up by saying, it's always wonderful to be here in Prescott, Arizona. At one time in our great history, the capital of Arizona. But for me, it's a little personal. There was one Barry M. Goldwater who decided he would run for the United States Senate in 1952. And he decided, because of his family connections, that the night before the election, he would stand on those steps. And he kept up that tradition for every one of his elections, including when he was running for President of the United States. In 1986, the night before the election, when I was there to succeed Barry Goldwater in the United States Senate, I was most proud that I stood next to him as he said farewell, because he was my inspiration, a man of honor and dignity. And I'm so proud that in the years since, we have maintained that tradition, and every night before the election, we've come here to the steps of the Capitol with our beloved Bucky O'Neill there to continue to inspire us. And I will always be inspired by the wonderful people in this beautiful city and this wonderful courthouse. By the way, pretty well led. by this mayor. Thank you and God bless.